Hey everyone, Ram here, your DNA hacker. I hope you're having a beautiful day wherever you may be. Again, just before we start, please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, comment, get active. Let us know what your needs are so that we can tailor make a video for you. Okay, so since it's mental health awareness, I want to discuss something very special today. And I've been going on this series of videos and articles on medium.com of great content where I teach people how to switch stress from something negative to something positive, from a foe to a friend. How you can use the same neurochemicals, hormones that stress activates and channel them in the right way. How you can naturally boost some of the elements that are present when you are in what's called the flow state. And today I'm going to focus on one of those chemicals. It is a naturally occurring endocannabinoid related to the cannabis plant. To THC, for example, THC, the psychoactive component of marijuana, acts on this receptor. Doesn't mean that I'm endorsing going out and consuming marijuana. I don't. And not because I have negative perspective about it, but because it is not necessary. And it actually long-term leads to negative consequences. So what we teach at Rama's Rooted Tree, what I teach in the DNA Hacker Secrets programs and events are to do this naturally, to build a strong foundation so that everything that you do from that foundation can actually jumpstart you, can take you off, and so you can keep reaching higher and higher levels of consciousness and awareness and power and health, etc. So that you can truly live, as Buster goes running along, my dog, and so you can truly live 100% stress and disease-free. So anything that's going to push you to the extremes, I cannot encourage. You want to do things that keep you in balance. You have a natural endocannabinoid system, and today I'm going to teach you how you can actually activate it, engage it, enhance its function. Remember, if you have not done so, go to the link below. I have an upcoming event here in Miami at an exclusive villa where I'm teaching people how to begin to master the art of living stress and disease free. You will leave with skills and tools that you can implement in your life. I promise you that. It'll be an amazing event. It's filling up fast, so don't waste time. Link below. Okay, so let's begin. So this article that is on medium.com is called How to Boost Anandamide Levels Naturally. It's an antidepressant. So how do you activate your endogenous antidepressant? And so this Ananda means bliss. So it is an amide. It's a type of chemical with certain structure that binds to the endocannabinoid, the cannabinoid receptors in your nervous system, in your body. The same receptor that THC binds to. The thing here is that not everybody activates these receptors the same way. So not everybody's going to be free of fear, stress, anxiety, have elevated mood, because they may have an overactive enzyme that breaks down the anandamide. This is called fatty acid amide hydrolase. It is an enzyme, it ends in ACE. It hydrolyzes, it cuts using water. Cuts what? The anandamide. It cuts a fatty acid amide, which is called anandamide. Anandamide is a fatty acid amide. So the enzyme that cuts it, some people have an enzyme that does not last as long. So this enzyme, in a sense, the gene is kind of downregulated. And therefore, because they have a genetic variant that causes a change in the activity of this enzyme, it leads to more anandamide activity. So anandamide is activated on demand and is broken down usually very quickly. But if it's produced and not broken down as quickly, a person could feel more blissful, happier, more joyous, more carefree. You can actually, regardless of what is the state of your enzyme, you can actually find, there are ways in which you can actually boost the levels of these enzymes. If you wanted to learn the best, most consistent effect, you need to join one of my events, and more importantly, my mastermind groups. And there you will actually learn the ins and outs on how to do this, not by eating a little something or exercising like I explained today, but actually restructuring yourself from the inside out. This is why my book, The Art of Stress-Free Living, says reprogram your life from the inside out. How do you take the power of your very consciousness and you use it to activate dormant pathways that you are not taking advantage of? How do you use the power of your consciousness to take stress and make it an ally, to boost the levels of the right chemicals and lead to a life that is richer, more powerful, healthier, and stress-free? All right, so there was a study actually done where they found that happier people, as I was alluding to earlier, produce less of this enzyme. So there's a genetic change in them that causes this enzyme to be produced less. This is not abnormal. Everybody varies in the endogenous levels of different chemicals. Endogenous meaning how much chemicals that are produced inside your body. Endo is within you, endogenous within me. You can obviously take something and then either take something that boosts your endogenous levels of, let's say, anandamide, or you can artificially take something that mimics anandamide. People typically go for marijuana, but marijuana has some psychoactive effects that some people don't like, as well as long-term it has effects that I cannot endorse. And so I recommend a different tactic that is a natural supplement related to that cannabis plant, but that has no psychoactive effects, no detrimental effects, but I will point out a caveat to that option. All right, so remember, this enzyme breaks down the anandamide. And so I mentioned that anandamide is a type of endocannabinoid, and that THC acts on the protein receptors for these for an endocannabinoid. So THC is a chemical. How does it have an effect in your nervous system? By acting on the cells. How does it act on the cells? By binding to a receptor protein, a protein that binds it, and that leads to changes within the nerve cells that can affect concentration, whatever it may be, mood, so on and so forth. So anandamide is what's called, along with other naturally occurring endocannabinoids, these are things that you naturally want to activate. And so a person that feels good overall, is full of bliss, is full of health and radiance, is a person with high endocannabinoid signaling. These are homeostatic regulators that are going to keep your body and mind in balance. So finding ways to enhance them is actually beneficial to you. So it's important that I mention that anandamide is produced on demand and is rapidly broken down. So things that get in the way of this enzyme, FAAH, will be beneficial for activity of anandamide and therefore for this homeostatic balance. Or that may be a little redundant because homeostasis kind of implies balance. But anyways, also, if you decrease activity of this enzyme that brings out anandamide, it's associated not just with increased anandamide activity, which you would expect based on what I've explained, but also decreased fear, decreased anxiety. You're going to have elevated mood. You're going to feel better overall. All right, so let's get to why you're here. How can we boost anandamide levels regardless of what your genetic makeup is? So it doesn't matter if you're one of those people that just naturally is a happy, glowing, radiant, healthy person that feels good, but you can do this in a variety of harmless ways that are great for you. Doctors have always recommended exercise. At Rama's Rooted Tree and my Data Hacker Secrets programs, I recommend specific exercises. Some exercises are actually damaging to the body, and therefore, for example, to the joints, to your back in the long run. They increase inflammation, arthritis, and other things. I don't recommend them. If you want to learn some of those, and reach out to me privately or join some of my programs, and we can teach you how to enhance your body from within and to without. And it's an amazing process. Cannot recommend it enough. So exercise, just 30 minutes a day, enhances anandamide levels. This has been shown by research. Of course, CBD, which is blowing up, CBD supplementation. The cannabidiol oil is one that's very popular. This has no THC, which we mentioned, acts on the endocannabinoid system, but it's spectrum, meaning that you want the CBD that gives you the full spectrum of the cannabidiols. You do not want just the CBD. You want all the different kinds of endocannabinoids that are present in this variant of the cannabis plant, which is related to marijuana, but it does not produce almost any THC. It produces very little compared. So one version is high THC, lower on these cannabidiols. The other one is higher cannabidiols, lower on THC. And the problem with CBD supplementation is the lack of research. So I have been working with a group here in Miami to try to begin research to clarify what actually works in CBD. This is a huge field. The supplement field is a field that is so unregulated. A lot of people are making claims of products that likely don't do anything and may actually do harm. There's a lot of CBD products that are actually not good for you, and you want to actually get educated. And so if you want a recommendation on what CBD product I would recommend, then shoot me a comment below or reach out to me on social media, or go to the link below and to our contact us page on ramasrootedtree.com. All right? But you have to be careful, because more than likely what you're taking may not actually have any effect whatsoever. But CBD has been shown to increase anandamide levels, and you want not just the kind of extract of the CBD that's kind of just one thing, you want the full spectrum version of it instead. And that actually boosts anandamide levels by inhibiting the FAH enzyme, as we mentioned earlier, which is what we want. This may explain why CBD may have some mood effects, may decrease anxiety, for example. So CBD supplementation, excellent option that should be integrated into your everyday routine. And make sure you get the right option. And of course, we also have dark chocolate. I'm emphasizing dark chocolate for a reason. You want the pure one, the one that's not loaded with sugar and dairy. The one that will be richer and less processed and contain more of the phytochemicals naturally occurring in that seed from the cacao plant. So you want the naturally occurring chemicals that will mimic cannabinoids and boost anandamide levels. So if you love dark chocolate, great thing for you right there. This is one that isn't as able to be, like you can't just go out truffle picking, but truffles are very popular in culinary arts, and they're very expensive and they're delicious. I love truffles. They contain anandamide. Problem is that they aren't something that you can eat as regularly, so they're not necessarily a great option, but whenever you can, get your truffles. And then lastly, one that I've been emphasizing again and again, over and over, and people need to listen. Eat a whole plant-based diet, high in fruits and vegetables, high in seeds, nuts, legumes, grains. the food of a frugivore, which is what you're meant to eat. These are the so-called superfoods. Low in calories, good for weight maintenance, and super high in nutrition. They're going to give you the right combination, the right tonic of chemicals that talk to your genes the right way, that help as it relates to this, that gives you the chemicals such as flavonoids, in particular camphorol. This camphorol, you find it high in what I've been emphasizing in the Art of Stress-Free Living book and in my programs, which is to increase your intake of cruciferous vegetables that are going to be high in these chemicals, that not only are they a lot of these chemicals found in these foods are not only are they anti-cancer, anti-inflammatory, antioxidants, they're going to help heal your body, but they're also going to be effective inhibitors of the FAAH enzyme. The same enzyme that, again, helps to bring down anandamide levels. So why is it that you feel good when you eat good, when you eat well? Well, it likely is that not only does your body feel good, it is not in a high level of stress, inflammation, pain, but two, the neurochemistry behind eating the right foods, well, you're stimulating the right neurochemicals that are going to elevate your mood, decrease anxiety, decrease stress, decrease fear, so on and so forth, and you're going to feel great. So exercise appropriately. If you want to know what am I recommended, comment below, reach out to me on Rama's Rooted Tree, the link is below, or find me on social media, and I'll give you some recommendations. CBD supplementation, again, most of CBD supplementation out there doesn't do what it says. They're not really doing their homework. There is a group that I trust that actually does do their research, and I'm glad to see that Harvard and MIT have joined to actually begin researching this, because we need to learn more about what actually works. What are the dosages that work? And if you want more information on that, then some research on that as well. I can clue you in onto what's the best option here. And of course, if you're a lover of chocolate, make sure to get your dark chocolate in. This does not mean to say eat excessive amounts of chocolate, which are going to have some sugar. That isn't necessarily an endorsement, especially for your tooth health, but it's something beneficial. Truffles. More importantly, it's the food you eat. And it's not just about 5 servings. This idea that the government knows what is good for you is ludicrous. The government's stipulations, their food pyramid, their recommendations are highly influenced by lobbying groups that benefit particular industries. So the idea that you should get just 5 servings of fruits and vegetables is just astonishing to me that it still exists to this day. You need to increase your intake, and I mentioned here that if you want this beneficial effect, this natural antidepressant effect, 5 servings is just not going to be enough. You want to actually make it a part of your living. 50% I recommend of your diet should be whole plant-based, particularly raw. The more intact the food is, the more intact it's going to get in your body, be absorbed, and be able to do what it does. The less oxidized it's going to be, and the less damaging it's going to be to your body. So feed your body well, feed your mind well. There's also a way in which you can unleash the power within you, start to harness these automatic areas or autonomous areas of your body, particularly of your nervous system, your endocrine system, your immune system. You can actually tap into them in a way that I teach in my programs. And if you're interested, please go to the link below to work with us, and check out my upcoming retreat, which is also below. So this is probably, of all the things here, number 1 and 5 are the most important. Get some activity in. Get the right physical activity in that's going to help your body and feed your body the right way. The power of mental health is within you. And of course, there are other aspects of mental health that we did not talk about today, So I don't want to reduce anxiety or depression or anything like that to just what we've discussed today. But there is a way to heal you, no matter where you're coming from. I've done it to myself and to others. I know I could do it for you if you give me an opportunity. I'm Ram, your DNA hacker. Have a beautiful day. Take care. Namaste.